It's a no-deal sweep.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
And this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me are four cracking panellists. On my right, we have Chris Forbes and Kate Hammer, and facing them are Suze Kempner and Roscoe McClelland. In the news this week, Irish rap trio Kneecap called out John Swinney mid-performance. Not because he said they shouldn't be playing Transmit, just because he was off his nut in the mosh pit. The next generation of Red Arrows jets could be built at Prestwick Airport, though for some reason the RAF are said to be hesitant about giving the contract to a relatively unknown company called Ferguson Aviation. And the Acropolis was forced to shut temporarily to protect workers and visitors from the impact of soaring temperatures of up to 42 degrees. Some parts of the Acropolis did manage to remain cool, however, on account of them being in the British Museum. Right, you met the teams. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Chris and Kate, can you tell me what this is all about?
Sir Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron
appear to have been created using AI.
Speaking last night at a banquet in Windsor, the King called for a deeper alliance between
First Minister John Swinney and his predecessor Nicola Sturgeon.
The Prime Minister is looking for
error-strewn unofficial biographies of high-profile SNP politicians.
Kate, any ideas what our first story might be?
I think the first story is about Emmanuel Macron's visit to the UK.
That is the right answer. Well done. Yes, this week saw the first state visit by a French president since 2008 and the first by a European Union leader since Brexit. Across 3 packed days, Emmanuel Macron attended a state banquet hosted by King Charles and sat down with Sir Keir Starmer to discuss both nations' attempts to tackle problems, including migration and defence. The visit went well, apart from an awkward moment when the French president first saw Charles and instinctively tried to behead him. Old habits. What do you think then, Chris? Do you think President Macron enjoyed his visit?
I think he was a little bit disappointed at the feast when he saw some of the delicious sausages on offer and then realised it was King Charles' fingers. But I think the other main takeaway from it was a lot of people were really impressed that he spoke in just fluent English. A lot of people were really impressed by that. I think more so because President Trump hasn't even managed that yet when he's been over. And I like the fact that Charles did it as well. He was switching between English and French, but I haven't seen any of it, but in my head it'll be more like when it's like a football player that's played abroad or like all we know for standard grade French where he's like, well, yes, lovely to have you here and j'adore le fromage. Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Suze, did you see much of this visit? Do you think President Macron enjoyed his visit?
Well, he can't have done because, I kept hearing on the news that they said King Charles and the Queen are going to meet Macron. And whenever I hear anyone say the Queen, I just think, oh, they're going to meet a ghost. I never will picture Camilla. So he must have been incredibly disappointed. He didn't get to meet a ghost. It was just plain old Camilla. Right.
Oh, it's just you, yeah.
Yeah, who probably is more of a laugh than the Queen ever was, even as a ghost, but, you know.
Well, ghost or not, he did meet the King and the Queen. Roscoe, it was a big one this week. Do you think President Macron enjoyed his visit?
It sounds like he did, yeah, because the list of things they had him do, it was like Monday, a banquet, and you're like, oh, that sounds good. And then on Wednesday, he was going to see a horse that he'd given to the Queen a few years ago, and that sounds like a child's diary of what they want to do on holiday. So that's how would he even know if it's the same horse or not? Do you know what I mean? That's been a few. How does he know? Oh, same horse. You know? Oh, sorry, that horse actually had to go and live on another farm. Really sorry about that.
It was a busy week, you're absolutely right. Lots to get through, but did it work? Do you think this will improve UK-French relations? What do you think, Kate?
I mean, what's there to improve? I think we already have a robust cultural exchange. They send us fine pastries and cheese. We send them thousands of 20-somethings away to Paris for a weekend to fix themselves, you know? I think it's nice. I'm also willing to volunteer as tribute if there is still trouble. I'll go down to France, do a one-on-one with Macron, teach him a little about sausage rolls. He can teach me about French kissing. I'm up for that.
It's a swap deal. We'll make it happen. Roscoe, what do you think about this then? If you were in charge of it, what would you have had them do on their visit?
M&D's. Scotland's theme park, eh? And then maybe Equi's on the way home, I think, for some ice cream.
Oh, beautiful. The best.
I misheard you and thought you said Eckies on the way home there.
I thought you said Equus on the way home. I was like, horses? Oh.
If you combine all three of them, you've got... I used to have those types of weekends, but not anymore.
That's right, during the first French state visit since 2008, senior members of the royal family welcomed the French visitors and celebrated the Entente Cordiale, which is French for, do you want to try some diluting juice? Well done. There we go, Chris and Kate. You get 2 points for that. It was the visit of French President Emmanuel Macron. Over to you now, Suze and Roscoe. What was the other story we were after?
Is this about the AI Scottish biographies that are like littering Amazon?
That is the right answer. Well done. What a great spot. This is indeed the news that Amazon has pulled fake biographies of SNP leaders amid concerns AI slop will be used to undermine next year's Holyrood elections. The online retail giant is already in the process of removing a book which falsely claims that the First Minister John Swinney was born in America to a Polish mother, and another that garbled the life story of his predecessor, Nicola Sturgeon. One customer immediately reported the book for false and fabricated information after it described John Swinney as charismatic. Suze, that is a brilliant spot. Well done in getting that right. So what do you think then? Is Amazon right to pull these books?
Well, no, because what if they accidentally pull one that's a real biography? Like, I've just read a really good biography of Ian Blackford where he told us about how he was the first man on the moon, and it would be awful if I hadn't got to read that just because they pulled it by accident.
I've been reading a book recently as well about the life of, BBC Scotland weatherwoman Judith Ralston, and did you know her dad was actually a cloud? Fascinating stuff.
Didn't know that, mate.
Oh, it's incredible.
Didn't know that. Well, there you go.
Cumulus.
You learned. Is that Suze, what about you? This is a general point now. Do you think there should be greater restrictions on AI in the arts?
I think it very much depends on a case-by-case basis. Like, there are some comedians where I wouldn't know the difference. I'm not going to name them because it wouldn't be fair on Roscoe.
What about this then? Obviously, it's alerted people to a wider problem. Kate, should there be greater restrictions on AI in the arts?
I feel strongly about it, so I have prepared a statement. I feel so strongly about this. AI should not be banned from the arts any more than a saw should be banned from carpentry. Is this the response you were looking for? Feel free to ask me any more questions.
Chris, final thoughts on this to you. We're talking about lies in books at the moment, but what is the biggest lie that you have ever told?
I guess the biggest lie I've ever told and continue to tell is that I'm Andy Murray's brother. Yeah. I did once truly claim that I was Judy Murray's son so that I could park in the VIP section of the Emirates Arena for a Davis Cup event where I was supposed to be going as her guest, but I turned up at the car park and they were like, "What's your name?" And I said, "Chris Forbes." And they were like, "You're not on the list." And then I said, "Well, can you check with someone? It's Judy Murray's son." And that's what he said in the radio, and they went, "Let him in." So amazing.
That was brilliant. Well done, Roscoe and Suze. You get 2 points for that. And at the end of that round, well done. Our teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, broadcaster and writer Katie Puckrick and Scotland's national poet, the Macker, Peter Mackay. So, Roscoe and Suze, you're up first. What do you think Katie is talking about here?
If I were a local member of the community, I would definitely sign up for this. You get to know them and they get to know you. The idea of just bunking up with complete strangers is kind of cute and olden daisy. I like the delicious jeopardy of it all.
I know what this is about. This is about Partick Thistle, the Jags, asking local residents to let trialists and new players stay with them while they fight for their place on the team.
Yes, Partick Thistle Football Club have appealed for fans with spare rooms to take in players who are new signings to help them integrate into life in Glasgow. The fan-owned club, who play in the Scottish Championship, told BBC Scotland News 4 supporters had already responded to the initiative so far. Footballers understandably get lonely living on their own, which explains why Ryan Giggs was always at his brother's house. Roscoe, well done. What a story, and well done in the right answer. Go on then, would you let a football player stay in your house?
Do you know, I would let a footballer stay, but only if they help me around the house using just football skills. Remember that advert? They were all the World Cup one, they were all kicking the ball about in the airport. If they were just volleying socks into the washing machine, do you know what I mean? I think that'd be great. Or just overhead kicking spider cobwebs out the corners of the room. That'd be great. Although being a Rangers fan myself, I don't think I'd let Cyril Dessels because he'd probably miss. Sorry to throw him under the bus. He's got kind eyes. He shouldn't be here. He's no built for Scottish football, is he?
Kate, what about you? On the back of this initiative, would you let a football player stay in your house?
Of course I would. I think I would put some boundaries in place, though. I think they would have to be at least 25, good-looking, strong calves. And they'd have to be okay with the rugby players I also keep there. Let's stay. My plan.
Kate's up for it. So a mixed bag of responses here. Chris, would you let a football player stay in your house?
Yeah, I think so. I think as long as we could use a lot of the kind of football terminologies and attributes of it, like substitutions as well, like, oh, mate, can you sub in for the dishes? Can you sub in for the washing? The only fear is that the wife might say at night time, what about that substitute? Unless it's Dessers, because he'd probably miss. But,
obviously, it does mean footballers spending the night in somewhere you wouldn't expect them. Where's the most unexpected place that you've spent the night?
At the Edinburgh Fringe, a few years ago, did have a one-night stand with a Canadian man who was visiting the Fringe, who was staying in student accommodation. And I don't know if it counts, because it's 3 years since then and I'm still with him.
Chris, where is the most unexpected place that you have spent the night?
in an actual dog kennel. It was very unusual. It was after a night out, of course. But I went back to my mate's flat in Glasgow, and he's got a wee balcony on it, and it's got a wee balcony. It's got like two sides. It's got a wee corner. And I went out to take a phone call from my mate in America. So it was an 8-hour time difference. We had a lot to catch up on. It was about 1, 2 in the morning. And my mate, whose flat it was, he'd had a bit to drink, couldn't see where I was anymore, assumed I'd left, and just locked the balcony door. But he's got 2 wee dogs, and their dog kennel sits outside on the balcony. And I couldn't get back in. The irony is the 2 dogs were inside looking at me through the window. And it was freezing, it was November. It was actually quite serious. And I had to crawl into their dog kennel and try and stay warm all night. It was horrifying, but to his credit, he was mortified. And 2 days later, he sent me a bottle of wine and a box of dog biscuits.
Yes, putting up Partick Thistle players is the right answer. Suze and Roscoe, you get 2 points for that. Now to you, Chris and Kate, it's your turn. What do you think Peter is on about here?
This is probably the last thing people want if they are in a pub. Well, somebody to be keeping an eye on them. I'm saying, yeah, are you sure you've not had too much now? Quite often people want to. And I don't think this will work because of that.
It sounds like he's slagging off these new drunk patch kind of drunk kits that you can get where you put it in your arm, you get a wee alert if you've drank too much.
That's the right answer. Well done, Chris. Yes, this is the news that a wearable patch has been designed to let you know if you've had one drink too many. The technology, which could be available within the next 2 years, tells you if you're at risk of dehydration and a future hangover after sinking a few bevies. A phone alert is triggered when a certain amount of water and alcohol is lost through the skin, and the wearer is then told how much water they should drink to balance things out. The patches will come in 3 sizes: a small patch, medium patch, and a rough patch you've been going through since your wife left. Chris, what a story this is. Well done in giving us the right answer. What do you think? Is this patch a good idea?
I think it's a bit daft because men in particular, we're stupid. We're idiots, so we're never going to listen to technology. If an app tells us that we've had too much to drink, we're going to go, this app doesn't know my tolerance. I've only had 6 or 7. It's like when you see the petrol light come on in the car, you're like, but there's a reserve tank. There's a reserve tank.
But I am excited to see the levels, because I assume there's got to be, you're drunk, but now you're blutered, you're steaming, you're sloshed, or my personal favorite, you're asleep in a dog kennel. That's...
Suze, we're talking about the drunk patch. Would you believe it or not? It is a thing. Do you think this patch is a good idea?
No, because it would go off after half a gin and tonic, and then I'd be tearing it off, stamping it into the floor of whatever establishment I'm in while it shouts from my phone, "No, I was programmed to help you, please. I love you, I just want you to have a good morning." I'd be like, "No, shut up, I know what's best for me." And then 10 more gin and tonics and I'm in student accommodation again.
One thing leads to another. What do you wish there was a patch for, Chris?
Probably just like a kind of BS detector. Like for people that are just talking mince. If someone's just talking too much drivel at you and you've got a wee patch, it'd be a nice polite way to be able to say, "Look, I've stopped you there, I've had an alert." See, just when you said, "Actually, sometimes Nigel Farage makes a good point," it just went off. So I need to go.
So, Roscoe, we've got a drunk patch coming, but what do you wish there was a patch for?
At the age of 36 now, I'm starting to wish there was a patch that could tell me when to trust a fart or not. There's been a few incidents recently that...
Of course, in Scotland, a drunk patch is a polite way of saying that you peed the bed. 2 points go to Chris and Kate. This is Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Chris and Kate, you're up first this time. Who is this?
We didn't have cable growing up, and television was not allowed or a part of our daily routine. But we did watch a lot of movies growing up. We would rent movies at the video store down the street.
I think that's David Corenswet, who's going to be playing the new Superman.
Great spot. Yeah, that is the right answer. Well done, Kate. That is indeed David Corenswet, who is the latest actor to play Superman on the big screen. The movie, which opens this weekend, also features Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and dog actor Jolene as Crypto the Super Dog, who once shared a dog kennel with Chris Forbes. So, Kate, well done in giving us the right answer. What do you think? Is it time for a new Superman?
Look, every era gets a Superman that reflects the times. Reeves represented the poptimism of the 70s. Henry Cavill dealt with the post-war on terror, mistrust of global superpowers. I'm assuming this new guy will be fighting a Lex Luthor that buys social media sites and makes terrible electric trucks. we can call him Elon Musk.
I like that. It's got a ring to it. What do you say to this, Roscoe? Is it time for a new Superman?
Yeah, but I think it should be. Actually, I think there should be more. It should be like Supermen. Let's get, because he represents Metropolis. Superman, and there should be like really specific Supermen for different areas. Like the Glaswegian Superman could be called like Supermanny's Land, and his power is like good transport links. And And Man of Steel and things for people's washing lines.
Surely the Glasgow one should be Super Wee Man.
All right, Lex Luthor, yeah, bag.
I think you're on to something, Roscoe. Suze, we're talking superheroes. You've probably been asked this before, but let's go for it. What superpower would you like and why?
China.
Roscoe, what about you? What superpower would you like and why?
I've already got one, Des. It's a little thing that I do, and it makes me feel like a god. What happens is if I'm in the shower, right, and there's maybe like a bit of soap or a stray pubic hair that's not going down the drain, what I do is I move my arm into the water, and it forms like a kind of water cannon. And then I'll move it through the power of water like Poseidon, do you know? Makes me feel amazing.
Yes, we're all familiar with superhero origin stories. Batman's parents were killed in an alleyway. Superman's parents died in Krypton. And Spider-Man's Uncle Ben became a millionaire selling microwavable rice. Yes, well done. 2 points go to Chris and Kate. That was Superman himself, David Corenswet. Right, Susan Roscoe, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
I still feel as if I am the age of every graduate here in my head. And I think you don't ever lose that. And I think it's important to not lose sight of who you were.
Ashley Jensen?
Great spot on that one. Yes, that is actress Ashley Jensen, who has received an honorary doctorate from Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh 35 years after leaving the institution to pursue her career in acting. On Tuesday, she was awarded Doctor of the University for her contributions to the arts at Edinburgh's Usher Hall. Jensen has starred in extras alongside Ricky Gervais, hit American TV show Ugly Betty, and most recently as D.I. Ruth Calder in crime drama Shetland. Ashley Jensen is also the narrator of Embarrassing Bodies, a documentary about Portobello Beach when the sun's out. Ashley Jensen, honorary doctorate. Are you pleased for her, Roscoe?
They're just giving out doctorates, you know. They should get a different name for it now because there's too many. That's not a real doctor, is it? A doctor's someone who's got a really angry receptionist. That's what a doctor is, you know. Feels like they're just stat padding for the NHS at this point. No, we've got hundreds of doctors, actually.
So Ashley Jensen, honorary doctorate. Kate, were you pleased for her? Are you pleased for Ashley?
No, I think if we gave out degrees for everyone who didn't finish something properly, I'd have to give out a lot of PhDs to my ex-boyfriends.
Suze Kempner, what do you deserve an honorary doctorate for and why?
I don't know if I deserve it or not, but I have got one.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you, one person. So when one person claps, it's a round of applause. So I trained at the Royal Academy of Music and I got an associate of the Royal Academy of Music and I was overjoyed with this. And we went to the ceremony. There was like this ceremony with all these VIPs there. And then this woman got up and read out every person who was being awarded this associate. They read out a description of their incredible careers. And it literally went like, this man is the only ever recipient of 3 International Opera Singer of the Year awards, and everyone clapped. And it was like, this woman has played lead violin in no less than 15 philharmonic orchestras around the world, and in 2019 started a foundation for underprivileged children to learn the violin, including free violins. Everyone clapped. And it got to me, and it literally said, Suze Kempner has gone viral for her videos where she impersonates Liza Minnelli, Nadine Dorries, and Liz Truss, and also starred as the 3 times table in Number Blocks. This crowd of VIPs was like, is this some sort of joke?
It's impressive for me. I still don't know my 3 times table, so that's...
I'll be honest with you, in the session, I did have to read them every time.
Chris, final thoughts on this to you. We're talking about Ashley Jensen having an honorary doctorate, but what do you deserve an honorary doctorate for and why?
Maybe for services in identifying the most gullible members of society. Because the amount of people that actually believe Duncan Murray is a real person is troubling, and we need to know about these people because they can vote.
Ashley Jensen has most recently starred as D.I. Ruth Calder in the BBC Shetland, which is mainly famous for being the only crime drama in Scotland not to feature Martin Compston. Yes, well done. That was, of course, Scottish actress now, Dr. Ashley Jensen. That was the right answer, and 2 points go to Roscoe and Suze. It's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
What's in that bag? Tatty scones.
That's Simple Minds singer Jim Kerr there, proving you can take the boy out of Tory Glen, but you can't take the Tory Glen out of the boy. Right, fingers on buzzers, and here we go. 7 in 10 parents are worried about what? Chris?
Paternity tests.
7 in 10 parents are worried about what? Suze?
Just other parents having way better kids. It's something my mum constantly worries about to this day. It's been 40 years. She's still worrying about that.
7 in 10 parents are worried about what, Kate?
Having to let Ronaldo stay in their spare room.
Seem very concerned at the moment. 7 in 10 parents are worried about what? Roscoe?
Their child finding out they were conceived in the slam tent at Tea in the Park.
It's not quite there. I can give you the answer. This is what we were looking for. 7 in 10 parents are worried about what? They're worried about how social media and screen time is affecting their children.
What's in that bag? Tatty scones.
Oh, there's the klaxon. It means Jim has cared, and it's all over. At the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Roscoe McClelland and Suze Kempner. And commiserations to Chris Forbes and Kate Hammer. And we'll leave you with the breaking news just in. The Transmit Festival will be held in Glasgow over 3 days this weekend. The headline act is Snow Patrol, which will also be the main duty of the police sniffer dogs. Harris Tweed Hebrides has announced a collaboration with the sportswear giant Nike on a limited edition version of their iconic Dunk Low trainers. Tweed-covered Nikes are the perfect solution to that everyday Scottish problem of what to wear when you're shooting hoops in the morning and beer in the afternoon. And opera lovers arriving at Milan's La Scala Theatre in shorts, vests or flip-flops are to be turned away without a refund after complaints from regulars about slipping standards. Opera goers say they were appalled when they saw the magic flute, with one guy admitting his shorts might have been a wee bit too tight. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark.